Natasha Panther.
And today we're going to talk about how belief in your relationships. Start over. Hi, I'm Michael Gore.
And I'm Natasha Panther.
And today we're going to talk about how belief in your relationship drives your experience. So the first thing I want to ask is, what do you think the belief is in our relationship?
Trust.
Trust.
Believing in trust.
Trust.
Accountability. And they could be labeled as values, right?
Yeah. What do you think, like, in those values, what's the vision you see of us? Like that belief that you're living, that we're living?
I would also account that to my dream life. Like, I feel like I can expand with you. I feel like I can grow with you.
Mm-hmm.
And every time that I step forward, you step forward with me. Or every time that I feel like I'm growing, you grow right there with me.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think part of that goes to our belief of our vision. I think we have the same vision. So can you expand on like our vision a little bit?
Yeah, our vision as in like the family life, right?
Just our family life or what we want in life. And I think
in our careers.
Yeah, and I think the reason why we have such a great experience in, not saying it's always going up, but up and down, not down. I don't like to use down, but I like to use the weaving, right?
Yeah,
that we use, and it's a plane, it's just we weave instead of going like this. It's just we're weaving like this.
Yeah, and weaving, just to give a little bit of an example of what weaving can show up as, is that we can blend together, and as couples do that all the time. It's like we blend and then we have to come apart a little bit to find ourselves again, to come back to that interdependence, and then come back together and share with one another what we learned and how we've grown, and then to share a little bit more about the vision and the belief that we do have. Is like the belief that we carry is like always growth, and I feel like you support me in my growth and vice versa, like in different ways, different aspects of like lifting one another whenever someone's kind of feeling lower, or not lower, but just sort of like confused or maybe lost. It's like we hold each other's anchors in that belief.
Yeah, like our how we complement each other is like, my clarity comes through of like what we talk about, that grid, right? Like I'm very good at the grid of like planning things out and having these grids, these squares and everything like that. Structure.
The structure, which men are usually really great at, or the more masculine types of energies.
And you're really good at curving out those hard edges and making them soft, and I think I've told someone this. I was explaining the story, and we were talking about what we want to create in our life, and I had the acknowledgement, like, for the grid or for the structure to transform into the masterpiece, the structure has to be able to listen to the artist. And I'm my own artist, and Natasha is her own artist in her life. But when we come together, it's those polarities and the surrendering of those polarities to create one together.
Yeah, it's like we honor our strengths.
Yeah.
When we're finding out what our strengths are and how to communicate that always. So, as you're talking about the structure and working with the grid, it's almost like we had this come through for us the other day. It's like he is the imaginative one. So like his thoughts, his creations, his visuals are like expansive and growth. And I'm like, I can't even imagine that. But then to bring it down into the world, that's where I feel very, very, that's where my strengths
that's how you compliment. You compliment that, precisely. And to get back a little bit about the topic of how your belief drives your experience, is like, I'm going to use religion just as an example for people to use this on. Is like, let's just say you believe in Jesus, or you believe in Allah, or whatever you believe in. Well, you're going to start making your experience around that belief. So you're like, well, if I believe in Jesus, he says to do this, this, and this, to have everlasting life. I mean, Allah says do this, this, and this to live your life. So if you and your partner, and the point of using that is that if you and your partner can come to the same belief of what you want your life to be, well, that's going to drive your present experience. So, and that present experience can be dictated, like, okay, let's come together, and how can we create that belief that we see in the future? Today, how can we live that today and not let it be this future thing, and you're not doing this and become a thing to separate us? How can we make it us come together?
Yeah, And it's almost like I want to bring in another aspect of religion, but more of like law of attraction. So for those of you who don't believe, it's like law of attraction, or just even confirmation bias, right? Like anytime that we're like, oh, we focus on a red car, all of a sudden we start seeing those red cars, and the red cars are everywhere, just to confirm our own perception.
Yeah, and that's the big thing, is a belief is a perception, right? And it's, can we co-create a perception, a vision, and make it a reality by making choices today to live that reality instead of waiting for it to happen.
Right.
And it's the accountability part and the interdependent part. You're taking accountability for your part and what you do best, and I'm taking accountability for my part, what I do best, and maybe what I don't do the best. And saying, you know what, well, what I don't do best, I can work on. What I do best, I can also work on. But it's because me working on that helps create the vision that we have together, and allows, in my opinion, me and Natasha to come together and create that vision together. Because we know when we're separate from that vision, like we know when we start separating. And it's okay for you to tell me, Michael, like, I don't feel supported right now. Like, I need you to say, hey, I want to take you somewhere. And say, hey, do you want to go somewhere? Do you want to go for a walk? And you told me, no, like, I want you to, not that you were not going on walks, but I want you to ask me, hey, can I take you on a walk?
Yeah.
You know, not ask if you want to, but can I take you on a walk? And I think that's part of, we're not going to get into too much of, you know, the masculine role of taking care of the energy of my woman, of my partner, my wife, my girlfriend, you know, and that's what, holding that energy, you know. And it's not all the time I say, hey, can I take you there? You know, that's not what you want all the time, but you want to feel that romance still, like, hey, can I take you on a date? Can I take you here? Yeah. I really want to take you. Can I take you on this walk? I just want to go on a walk. Can I take you on a walk?
Yeah.
You know? And
that's one thing that we'll talk about in the workshops is knowing when to and how to create that space. Because let's say we can come from this place of, I can come from this energy of, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, which I faced. And I took accountability for it, and I realized, like, wait a second, like, I'm crossing my own boundaries and not even voicing what I need or what I want.
So important.
And then, you know, he reflected that back to me in a very reciprocal way, and in a very like, okay, I receive that. But that's the key in everything, is like just being open in communication and not taking it as personal, because that's what we tend to do. And that's what I'm learning in constantly in life, is like everything is happening for me, and I take responsibility for my part.
And I think that's the whole point, is that you just said something, I'm trying to remember, like a second ago, about our experience and taking accountability. What did you just say? You said something?
So taking an accountability and being open, creating a space.
Because you said that not taking it personal.
Yes.
So not taking it personal. You see, what I see, like what I hear when, whether I take stuff personal, like it's a constant work, right? And it's getting
everybody, right?
Yeah, right. But it gets, the more you are aware of it, that chance of that actually becoming a reality, that personal feeling, you can feel it, but the chance of it becoming a reality gets smaller and smaller, because I realize the more personal that I would take it, and this is my own life or in your own relationship with yourself or with your partner, we're just going to stick with our partner for now, but we can talk about more on the workshop on the personal side, but it takes away my experience with you. It starts taking away of our vision together, and it makes it more about me instead of about what we're creating.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I hope this was some good info for you guys on what's coming up on the workshop, just kind of how belief drives your experience, and I hope it just gives you some insight for the day.
And reach out to us.
Yeah.
If you have any questions, we are here, we are open, and this is what we love to do, is talk about things and being of service.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.